to the Flower Files. Today we have a very, very, very special guest with us. She's a behind the scenes person, helps us with questions, helps me with questions. We have CJ Price here with us before, and hopefully you've heard of her, but if not, she's an incredible human being who has so much knowledge about the Google, is what we call it in our vocabulary now, with SEO and website building. And today we're gonna kind of go off topic of flowers specifically and interview her and ask her questions about like all the things that she does. So Mom and Amber, please start with your questions and we'll go from there.
First of all, I just want to say, woohoo! I'm so excited that we have this time with her because she is a very busy human who runs around crazy. She just is always not only working, but she's got 2 incredible kids. She's married and of course has a husband who's awesome too. But she does so many things, helps so many people. And for me personally, she definitely helps keep me together some days when I'm like, oh my God, everything is blowing up. I'm not sure which end is up. Can you please help me fix Z, W, 1, 3, and A, B, and C?
Yeah.
So,
CJ, I think first we want to ask just who are you? How did you get started? And what exactly is it that you do now?
Sure. Well, first, thank you very much for inviting me on. Watching the behind the scenes of you guys starting this has always been fun. So, and I've never been on a podcast, so first time for me doing this. So I'm trying to think, how did I get started? I met Liza. How would we start there? How I met Liza. And how I became her helper person and all the things. So I used to own a event and tent rental company with my husband called Price Rentals and Events. And one day Liza just walked in the showroom with a bouquet of flowers. And I didn't realize how nervous you were, but I didn't think, I was just like, yeah, sounds great. And you said that you were going to do bouquets for our tape. We had like a showroom with tablescapes and you wanted to do the flower arrangements. And I was so giddy. I was like, yeah, heck yes, let's do this. And I remember you told me later how nervous you were, that you were afraid I would tell you no. And
I was
why would I say no?
I was so nervous when I first walked in your showroom because like you have this big, cool, awesome business. You were doing all of these things with all of these awesome people. You were like the rental person to talk to. And I was like, I'm going to go talk to her and ask her if I can just take her flowers once in a while. And literally my chin was shaking. I was like, I can do this. I sat in the car and I was like, I am an adult. I can do this. We're both humans. We can do this. And you were so welcoming and inviting and just, it was serendipity because after that I was like, I like this human. I need more of this human in my life. And
I needed you too. I did. No, I needed you too. And so I did that for 6 years with my husband. And then COVID happened. COVID happened to everybody. And it was in that time, number one, that we realized what a weekend was. It was amazing to have Saturdays off. And you know, my husband was a wedding DJ before we even did event and tent rentals. So we've always kind of been in that wedding space. And, you know, an opportunity came to us and a competitor offered to buy us. And we saw this as kind of this moment. You can't turn that down. And I have, like Liza said, I have 2 kids. Both of them are on the autism spectrum. So, you know, as they were getting older, I saw this as an opportunity that I could be there for them. I really missed a lot of their childhood because when you own a business of that magnitude, you kind of, the business owns you for a little bit, I will be honest. And, you know, I wanted to kind of take their childhood back. And so that's where I started. And during all of that, I was still doing web design. I've always done web design, and we can get into that later, like where that started. But I realized this was a great transition for me because I was working with so many business owners anyways in the event world, and then turning it and then saying, okay, I can help you actually with your business on a digital marketing scale. I think that was an easy transition for me, but that's where I kind of started, and getting to know Liza at least.
And she just built our beautiful brand new website. It went live, I think, at the end of November.
Yes, yeah, or what was it? Right at the beginning of December. That's when it was.
Yeah. It's amazing. I've shown all kinds of people, and they're like, "Wow."
Well, and I think the thing is with CJ that she makes it so easy to just trust her. It was so easy for me to understand what she was talking about, even though there's so many things about the website world that I don't understand.
Like the Google.
But the Google. We want the Google to like us. But there's so many things I have questions about and needed help with. And CJ's confidence, knowledge, and just, oh, you just do this, this, and this. Where I'm like, I don't even know what you just said, but yes, this is what we need to do. It took a lot of trust to turn that over. And she gets it. She helps us with absolutely anything that we have questions on. And it's not just one of us. There's a team of like 5 of us who go to her and say, hey, what about this? And I don't know how to do that. And now we have more control over the website too. It's not just plug and play. It's, hey, we want to do all of these things. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And it's off from scratch too. It's not just like a willy-nilly, like you said, like apps that you download like on this website builder. It's from nothing. Like it's coding. Well, technically.
So I would say one of the issues just with you guys, and I think a lot of your listeners might also end up in this space, is you had a working website. You guys were getting sales from it. So it wasn't that you guys were starting from scratch. It was scalability for you in the next step of your business. So I know a lot of small business owners, they start with a do-it-yourself website, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it will get you to a starting point. And what you'll notice is there's going to be a certain time where you're like, well, how do I make more sales? How do I make my website my lead salesperson? And that's kind of when I like to come in. I don't like building 5-page websites that are just like starter websites for people. I want to help people get to that next level, and I feel like that's where I niche down. Is those are my people. Is like, okay, you understand, like you've seen what a website can do, so now let's take it to the next level. And when you have a custom website and the scalability of a custom website, especially for you guys with your e-commerce, that opens up a lot of doors.
100%. Well, and to be able to sit with you and share, these are my ideas, these are my long-term goals. I want to build the infrastructure in place so that we can do that correctly. And you never look at me and go, that's too much, or that's overwhelming, or you'll never get there. You're just kind of like, okay, we'll figure it out and we'll do these pieces and this makes sense. And how do we build that? And you get it. You get it. And I don't know how else to put it other than you get it.
Well, Thank you. I feel like most of the time too, we come to you with pieces and you're like, oh, this can go on this page, or this is later down the road where we can build this piece, where I wouldn't have even like thought of it in that way. Like you have like a process, and then you have such like a creative brain too, where it like opens up this whole other option for page and like history. It's just it's really cool to be like, okay, we have this, but what do we do with it? And you're like, oh, that fits right here.
Right. Right. Well, that, and I feel like a lot of it too is like going back to your infrastructure. When we started talking about your new website, I knew you guys wanted to do this podcast as well. And then there was this whole conversation of, does the podcast sit within Wildly Native's, domain? Do we do a different, there's so many ways to do it, but we realized, kind of interconnecting the brands on your domain, from an SEO perspective really will benefit you in the long run. But, those are questions you have to think about when you start doing a redesign or a refresh, if you want that scalability, or else, you can piece them together down the road. But if you have that base infrastructure in place, it gets a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about building a website from something that's already existing. Where do you even begin when you're taking something that already exists and trying to scale it up?
So I was thinking, because I saw this question and I was thinking about this, and honestly, it goes back to, you want to, like, a lot of people go, oh, you want to focus on your design and you want to, make it pretty. Yes, that is very important. But honestly, you really need to think about like the purpose and the goal of the website first. And then like content begets design. And I know a lot of people will come into the web design space and say, no, design then content. I just don't work that way. I feel like, you need that high quality content, that goal, that purpose, like what you are selling, like why would someone come to your website to begin with? And if you understand all of that, then building the actual site after knowing those answers, it gets a lot easier.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah. But that's how that kind of ties back into what I was saying before. Like, you start with the pieces and then you build it. It's not like, oh, I want this, but we don't have the pieces to build it yet.
Right. And one of the things I did not do this for you is actually, I think one of your questions that you had was, what's the hardest thing that I had to do for you guys? And it was, I don't want to say it was a mistake on my part, but because Liza and I go so way back, I do have like a process where I send like a branding questionnaire, and there's all these goals and questions about SEO. And I was like, I know, Liza, it's fine. I don't need it. But now, like, and like during the process, I kept going back to like, parts of that questionnaire. And I was like, lesson learned from this experience with you guys, which was fun. And I would never say, that, but I would say if I could do that one thing over again, I would definitely send you that probably 20-page questionnaire, because then I think a lot of your oh my god moments, or like, oh, I want to add this, we would have like maybe known a little sooner. And then I think, but because you already had that infrastructure, it wasn't that hard for me to put it in. But I think you guys would have been able to have that brainstorming session earlier, if that makes sense.
Well, and there's so many little details. There's so many little things that you see because you see it through different vision. Little things like our gallery, spring, summer, fall, winter.
Right.
We're thrilled to have a gallery that's functional, that's interactive, that is linked all over the place. But you saw it and we're like, okay, we need to add the descriptions of each of those seasons. And we all were like, oh, wow, we didn't think of that.
Right. Because, you want to think, because I always come from it as your website should be your best salesperson. So if someone comes there, they see that it's a fall gallery. But if you guys are selling these, Lizzie, I love when you always use the word aesthetic, like this, like your wedding aesthetic, then you should probably have your website broken down in that way. If that's the way that you're selling to your bride when they go through your CRM, then you want them to be able to see that on your website. So for me, it was almost good. Like, I don't understand the flower industry. I do understand the wedding industry. So I think that helps me understand, like, you're selling, your services to for the season, and you're always going to have certain themes that are going on. But if you actually show that in a gallery format and actually become more specific on it, I think then your ideal client sees that, and it becomes so much easier for them to, to convert the sale.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part of doing a website?
Honestly, I feel like it's learning, because like I always do I focus a lot on service-based businesses, but it's not the same one. A lot of like web designers will niche down and say, I only do wedding planners. And I like to think that I want to just help like small service-based businesses. That's my goal. I want to show you that being online is a really powerful tool. And I always like to learn more about what they do and like what you guys do. Like, I really didn't know everything that you guys offer until we started talking about the website, and kind of learning that, and then teaching you how you can utilize that to benefit yourself with SEO and the Google. Then so I like teaching in that. Like, I know you come from a teacher background, Liza, and I did not do that, but I feel like I like that connection of showing someone like, here you are, this is where we're going to be, and this is how I'm going to take you there, and all because your website's going to do it for you. I don't know. I like that journey.
I learned a ton from you. So just because I taught ag, I can teach you how to plant things. If you can teach me how to do SEO things,
right?
So,
right.
No,
I do. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's your profession. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that you've built our website. I don't know what other kinds of brands and companies and businesses that you've built for, but like, what kind of things do you take into consideration for places like us, or say a clothing business, or what have you? Like, what do you consider for each of those things first?
So you always want to think about your target audience first. So, you guys were my largest e-commerce website that I've built so far. But I've done a lot of other larger websites. Like I did Main Street Chestertown's website. I've done, a website for a caterer, a website for wedding planners. So it just kind of goes back to for their target audience, what are they looking for? Because your website really needs to solve their problem for them. People are going to Google and say like, caterers near me or florists near me. Yes, that gets them through the door and they get to your website. But once they get there, if you don't solve the problem that they have, then why would they stay on your website? So it's basically my how I started trying to figure out, what is the problem? How can we solve it on the website so that we can convert them and do that call to action? So, for you guys, it's go to the shop or, inquire for a wedding. You have multiple call to actions on your site depending on your target audience on that page.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've learned more about marketing and the interwovenness of marketing and the connections and the places to learn more about marketing than I've ever had in any class that I've taken. Like there's so many little things that are like real world, hit the pavement reality working with you compared to read the book, understand this is what we're going to do. This is an impact. And I can be like, oh, so.
And I mean, and even in the last month that we've been, I guess, back to work because it's been after the holidays and everything, this is the one winter where we've gotten our most orders with flowers.
Really?
Like,
okay, great.
Yeah, like
I love that. I'd love to hear that.
Well, Nicole and I keep looking at each other and we're like, we're gonna have to order flowers because usually, like in the wintertime, we get like a couple here and there, and it's winter, like we're far from, like we get it, but now it's like 3 or 4 like a week, and
That's
it could be
awesome.
from birthday to hope you have a great day to sympathies to dog stuff. Like it's everything. Like we had 4 yesterday. We had 4 yesterday. We had a 50, a 75, a 30, and 40. So I'm glad it's not just like a 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 all the time. Like I feel like we have a good like flow of everything, but it's pretty, it's noticeable.
More consistent.
Yeah.
And I think one of the fun parts that's going to happen, because we're in the beginning of, I didn't see the analytics of your previous site as much. So now that you are going to have this history of your order history, and you can look at your Google Analytics. And I know, Liza, we've gone through it a little bit, but soon you can understand the path exploration of your users. And then we can start tweaking the site even more. Because I really think like one of my things is, I can build you a website and I can give it to you. But if it just becomes static, and you never change anything and you never update anything or ever just check it out or just look at your, your insights, then you're really never going to like help your ideal user navigate through your site. I could say something some way and I could think that it works. And then we look at, a month in, we're like, hey, all these people, we were trying to get them to go here, but they're always going here first. Like, let's change the path so that the call to action ends up here instead, because that's where we're going to get them.
Right. Right. Because you want a website to be inviting.
Hey guys, Lizzie here. I bet you didn't know this about me, but I am gluten-free, and one of the things that I struggle with is going to the grocery store and finding the foods that fit my dietary needs. What I have been doing for the past couple of months is ordering from Hungryroot. Now, Hungryroot is an online company where you can order groceries off of their website. It's full of produce, crackers, cookies, to muffins, to meats, and all the different types of snacks and things like that. They have made my life so much easier in the process of finding foods that fit my dietary needs. There are filters that you can adjust, such as non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, paleo, different preferences and things like that. So what they have done for us, because they're such a generous company, the Hungryroot team has given us a 40% off discount code on your first box. So if you use the code FLOWER40, and that's capital FLOWER 40 at checkout, you will get 40% off your first box. I'm so excited to team up with these guys. They've made such an impact on my life in the morning and to my day-to-day life, and I hope you experience the exact same thing that I do. All of the information will be linked down below, including the link to where it should already be pre-applied to your cart when you hit the link and go to their website, and I will also add the code at the bottom for easy access in our show notes. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and enjoy your first box through Hungry Road.
And easy. People want to click, 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 and be done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the society that we live in today.
Yeah, they just
Right.
want
And
easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, my goal is to make your users stay on the website
Mm-hmm.
forever. Just like how Instagram does not want you to leave that platform, you know? So if you do things where like message me, Instagram is going to ask, like push that content because you're not asking them to leave Instagram. So the same thing with your website. We don't want them to go anywhere else. So we just want to keep feeding them information so they stay.
Well, it's almost like YouTube too. Like they I forget what I was reading before. I guess it was like a marketing video that I had looked at, but they don't get paid until they hit a certain mark of a video and until you have a certain amount of your audience that's actually watching and sticking through the whole thing. So it's not like you post a 45-minute video and you make money off of it. It's
Right.
like how much of your audience, if you have like 50 people and only 25 of them are listening the whole way through, like you're not getting your money's worth of 50 worth of people. You're only getting your money's worth of 25 people. So like it's interesting to see how like almost all over every platform is interconnected. Like they just want you to stay on their website.
And that's your goal. That's going to be your goal. You know, you guys want them to stay there. You guys, at the end, we want them to, you know, add to cart or, you know, inquire for a wedding or, you know, join your email list. We want them to come back too.
And we did have, Mom, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had a ton of inquiries for weddings last week. Like a lot.
We did.
A lot.
We did.
We were like,
bling,
oh,
bling,
it was, yeah.
bling.
It was
So
right
exciting.
after Christmas. And I know people get engaged and all of that, but it was like, Nicole was like, is the website broken? No, it's just working.
That's great. That's so great to hear. Because that's what I want. You know, you know, and now because of scalability, you know, then we, you know, I think Liza, you and I talk about it all the time too, is like now that your website has scaled, you know, now you guys are going to be hopefully ready for all those extra inquiries that you're getting and those extra orders and everything. Because you've kind of made your plan, you made your marketing plan, but you've also made your business plan knowing that if I expand this to do this and I'm getting a wider audience, I'm ready to take those orders.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's almost backwards. I want to be here, but what are the steps I need to take to be here? And what happens if I have an issue or a question along the way? How do we adjust and adapt? So just kind of playing with all of that stuff is huge. Huge, huge, huge.
In case you needed a live review, there it is.
I should ask you for one, Liza. I should.
We can do that.
We can absolutely do that.
Okay, so the other day, I have to ask. The other day, the whole team sat down. We all went through the website, like all different sections. We
all, 5 people.
Yes,
With 5 people.
Are we talking about the Google Doc?
Yes, they all wrote on a Google Doc. How insane was that? And how, like, because it was like one person would find one thing and type it in, and the next person would be on a different section and type something else.
And I emailed you separately.
Yes.
Like,
so honestly, so for me, like one of the, you know, as I've gotten older, I realize I'm not diagnosed, but I probably have ADHD. So for me, that Google Doc was so fun. You know, it kept me, I was on task, but I was on different tasks within the main task, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I was like on it, and I feel like I got through that within like an hour.
yeah, you did.
You know, like those edits you needed, I was just like,
it was like
on
3 pages of edits.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I was just ready. I was ready to go. I was like, let's do this. So and you know, half of me was like, if this was in better order, I would have been faster. But I feel like it kept me, I don't know, engaged. I don't know. I mean, but I'm so used to working with you guys. Like I wasn't surprised when I saw that. So you know, and I knew who was who. You know, who was writing.
Oh, you probably knew the different voices. It was so funny because Nicole and I were like, I was like, we're going to write it down and then we'll reorganize it. Nicole was like, I'll reorganize it. And then at one point she's like, I'm not reorganizing.
No, it was perfect because honestly, That's like one of the hardest things for any web designer. I'm in so many, like, I feel like the one thing, like, for your audience too, is just finding people that are kind of doing the same thing that you're doing helps you kind of just feel like you're not going crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not just you guys, but like, getting content and then getting the feedback from the content is like this like constant, not, I don't want to say struggle, but it's one of those, like, it's like the arch nemesis of like the web design like community, is just trying to be like, how do you get your clients to respond? How do you get your clients to provide feedback faster? How do you, so like, I will say for you guys, like, that was just like a slam dunk. I was like, yes, I have all the feedback I need all in one place. Let's do this. So it was great.
Well, I'm glad that's how you thought, because I was like, she's gonna kill me.
And that's the hardest thing too, because I feel like some people, when you outsource something, right, in your business, and I don't know how
scary.
It is scary, because then you're giving it to someone else, and then that person is then sending it back to you, and then if you're a kind person at all, you don't want to be like, I hate it, or you don't want to be like, I would like it. You kind of feel bad but they're not you, and they're not gonna be you without the feedback. And because I do a lot of besides web design, I also do a lot of content marketing and digital marketing, like social media strategy for people. If I don't know like more, like if I don't get that feedback back from you, then I can't be better and make it better for you. So like, I need that, even if like it, so once I get it, like getting it from 5 people at once, yes, I will take that over never getting anything, or getting like crickets every once in a while. And then this like really soft email response, like, yeah, I love it. I would just change this one thing. I'm like, but what else? Like, tell me like what you think. Because the more I understand where you're coming from, then it gets a lot easier, to make those changes.
It's like our story page. I was like, listen, I've written the type. I'm sending you the pictures. Please make it pretty. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to organize it. I don't know what to do. I need you just to do it. Like, please just fix it.
Now, honestly, those are my favorite kind of clients too. Like, Nina, the director of Main Street Chestertown. So when we launched their website, then they do the Dickens Festival, which is a really big festival here in Chestertown. And she was so burnt out at that point. She was just like, just make it pretty.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, light bulb. I was like, yes, this is what so yeah, it's great when you have those clients that connect, but it's also great, like, once you know their vision and what they want, then the working relationship is so much easier. So
well, and I feel like it goes back to what we said earlier. We trust you, and you have that personality of like, hey, I'm going to be honest. This looks stupid. You should try this.
I've totally lost all professional communication and emails with you. By the way, there's no more. Hey, it's can you?
Right. No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Great, thanks.
No, it's so much better that way too, because then I think once you become comfortable with the people that you're outsourcing things to, because it is hard. I mean, like we got like, because we already know each other, but to find a web design, like, how do you give them your baby and be like, okay, like, this is my business, can you make it better?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like the peril of any small business owner in the beginning. I had the same thing at Price Runnels, because Nicole worked for me. How long it took for me to hire someone, like, that was, it's so hard, like, just trusting someone else with your stuff. And then once you get past that and you get used to it, it gets so much easier.
Yeah. Well, and we definitely look at you as a partner. It's not a business relationship anymore. How many times have we texted 300 text messages back and forth late on a Friday night because everybody else is asleep except for us?
Yeah. And those are the people you need. You need to find the people that are on your time zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Like, I love that I know I can text you later on in the evening and you are likely awake.
Oh yeah.
You need to find, if you're a night owl, you need to find your night owl people sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're an early morning person, find your early morning people,
Yeah.
But it does help, because, when you're a small business owner, and I know you were like this, you don't ever stop thinking about your business at any point. You never stop thinking about your marketing. You always want to learn more, and just having someone to bounce off your ideas, and that's what I'm here for you.
No, and I'm so grateful for that, because, I never want to drive everybody else crazy, but I can be like, all right, CJ, this is what I'm thinking, but I need you to help me, like, can you just help me process and like go through the thought? Like, I want to get to this end. Here's the pieces I'm thinking. but I'm afraid I'm missing something. What am I missing? Help me fix it. And
And
by
how
the
to get
way,
there,
let's
too.
have dinner and drinks.
Yes. Let's go get Mexican. So.
Amen.
Yeah. So.
Amen. Amen.
So you brought up price rentals.
Yes.
You've transitioned from one thing to the next. I mean, I personally first met you when I worked at JBK.
Yes,
And
I was that was like my first calling.
Yeah. How do you transition? I mean, you mentioned that you've always done web design. How did you transition supporting couples planning their weddings to supporting businesses building their business?
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to totally put her on the spot and be like, CJ, you need to actually talk about how you got started with all of the website stuff, because
okay, so I am slightly a nerd. And so I actually looked up this fact because I was wondering, like, when I started, so basically my family moved from New Hampshire to New Jersey, and I think I was like 12 or 13, and it was during the summer, and I don't know, normal kids, I guess, go outside or something, but I decided I wanted to buy a website and learn how to build, hand code websites. That's what I decided to do with my summer. And, that was before WordPress was a thing. So WordPress started in 2003. So now I'm going to be showing my age.
It's okay. Nobody can see.
And so I was learning how to just hand code by HTML, like hand code pages. That's how I started. And I just really, that's when blogs first started and, AOL dial-up, that's what was happening. I remember sitting just waiting for the internet to connect. And I was so excited to I had this cute little website just for myself. And I would just do little updates, 13, 14-year-old girl, before MySpace. And, and that's where I started. And then in 2003, WordPress started. And basically, your website is built on WordPress, and WordPress is an open source platform. So imagine all these people, WordPress opens up, and now suddenly you have an easier way to build a website. That helps your content management system. So basically all your pages and everything, they created a way for you to have those comments and your posts and your pages, everything's all kind of in one. Before that, there were other things similar to WordPress. Obviously, it's not like there wasn't, but once WordPress started, and then I realized, I built on Divi. So your website is a Divi website, and Divi didn't even come to fruition until 2013. So I've been, building on Divi for 10 years, and there's been so many transitions from them. But so in long story short, I was a little girl who was a really big nerd, and I just really wanted to learn how to hand code websites. And so I always did it. Even when I was in college, I was in a sorority, I did the sorority's website, that's what I did. And then when I met my husband, my husband's family owns JBK, which is a local hardware store in town. My first job, I built their website. And I was their, advertising manager back then. And, and that's how we transitioned from Price Rentals from there. Is I had an equipment rental background, and then we did small tents, small parties. And one night my husband, he was DJing at the time under a tent, and he said, what if we put up the tents? What if I didn't DJ anymore and we put up the tents? And I was like, yes, let's do that. So so we started. And then my favorite part of the website transition with that is, we had a competitor in town. We had a couple competitors on the Eastern Shore. And, for me, I was like, I know all this website knowledge. No one knows who Price Rentals is online. And everyone, the Eastern Shore, especially where we are, is one of those top 8 wedding destinations on the East Coast. So I have all these people who are searching for Eastern Shore wedding, but I'm not going to come up. So I need to figure out now, I understand how to build a website, but I didn't understand how to market a website until then. And within 6 months, I was able to get Price Rentals from nothing to number 1 under Eastern Shore Wedding tent rentals. How do you do that when you don't have any backlinks? You know what I mean? I went hardcore. And when I realized I had so much fun doing it, and I realized the benefit of putting that work in and realizing what SEO can do for you. So all my wedding vendor friends, I'm going to do some call outs, Jamie from Catering by Jamie. I blurted out to him, he would come in, I'd be like, oh my God, I have to help you with your website because this is what you need to do. This is going to get you those people. We are in this hub for weddings. You have to get online and get that website started. You are missing out so much if you're not doing SEO right. So long story short, That is how I have always done websites. And then when we sold price rentals, I realized I could still do this, and I can show other people who were in my shoes how to do this much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's it.
Okay, so now you can answer Amber's like, how do you transition?
So transitioning from helping brides, like plan their wedding day or wedding planners, and then helping small business owners, it's really similar. I mean, you're still supporting a journey, like a wedding, you're just supporting a more short-term goal. But with business owners, they still have goals and they have purposes that they want to achieve on their website. And it's just, I've always been like a people person. So just trying to get that information out of them. And it's, instead of me designing a tent layout, I'm designing a website. I feel like it's very similar. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, seeing those tent builders, like, they're not easy to work with. Like, they're probably just as difficult, if not on the same spectrum as a website builder.
Right. It's a CAD program, a website builder, same thing.
Yeah.
Is there anyone or anything in particular that you pull inspiration from when you're building a website?
So this one was hard for me to think about because I don't feel like I go to other web designers. So I don't know if I'm inspired by other web designers, but I think I am inspired by things. And I feel like we are really fortunate to live in an area that has so much rich architecture and art and just history. So I feel like whenever we get to go around where we live, it's very easy to be inspired by things. Mm-hmm. And, I even think it's small things like just going to your favorite clothing's website. Sometimes I go there for inspiration. Like I'll just go visit and just see like, okay, this is how they're doing. I might not be building a clothing website at all, but I'm just like, how did they take, they're just like like the white space or how their headings work or their hooks or, how did they have their search format, anything like that. So I don't know. I feel like it's everything and nothing at the same time. I don't know. I just feel inspired a lot. Like I just go, oh, like I go to a restaurant and like, I love that. Like that font on that menu was perfect. I'm going to I take a picture and then I try to find that font. So I don't know. Everything.
Absolutely everything inspires you.
Yes, everything. And, I feel like I should have like a more cutesy answer for that. But my kids, I don't know. Restaurant menus. That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to close this with some very standard flower questions.
Okay.
You built our website. You put in the quiz that pops up as soon as you go on the website. What flower season are you?
This was, I think of probably summer.
Yeah?
Summer. Yeah. Yeah. That's when we got married. So I would say summer. I feel summery. We have a pool. It's the whole reason we bought this house. Yeah. I'm a summer person.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what flower specifically would you pick?
So I thought about this really hard. I did. Because I part of I love gardening. So I was like, I think I would be a hosta.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's different.
Wow.
I really thought about it, because like they're really, for me at least, our old house was all shade, so they worked really well, and I just loved them so much. But then I moved all of my plant babies to our new house, and they are resilient. They came back, and they just, I don't know, they're just so patient and so just, I don't know, strong, and they kind of just work wherever, and they bloom sometimes. I don't know. That's it.
I think you're.
I should come up with
like
a
person that's picked something green versus an actual flower.
Uh-huh.
Well, because I was thinking, I could go the way like a daffodil because it was winter and they come up through the spring and new. And I was like, but that's not really me. I don't like yellow. I don't like yellow. And I thought about it, like being a mom, especially, and I don't want to say autism mom, but being a mom of 2 kids, you got to be like really, you got to have a hard shell and you got to be resilient. And I feel like hostas are really hard to kill. I don't know, so that's it. That's me. I'm a hosta.
Really hard to kill.
You know what I mean? You got to just be strong. And I feel like they keep growing at a steady pace and they're just always there. They're always there for you.
You should
I
put
love
that
my
at
house.
the end of your email signature. Be like, you're like, if I were anything, I'd be a hosta. Really hard to kill.
They are though. Like I feel like, you know, especially like when I was still doing price rentals, I never had time. I love gardening, but I never had time to garden. So like, I don't know. I would just like, you're always here for me. I would just, you know, I always look at them like, you are here for me, guys. Like, I'm going to take you with me. And I did.
I love it. All right, CJ, it has been a pleasure. I hope that we can have you on again soon.
Yes,
My
thank you
cheeks
guys.
actually hurt from smiling.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully I didn't ramble too much. I was really worried I would ramble a lot. So
Not
Not
at
at
all.
all.
This
and
was perfect.
thank you so much for inviting me. And I wish you guys the best. And I cannot wait to see this thing take off on the ground.
And I will probably text you like, you know, tomorrow.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
never might. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yes, I am always here for you guys.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you can find us anywhere you find your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have a Patreon page.
Audible.
Yeah, we're on Audible now.
Oh,
And on Google Podcasts. It's not very pretty, but it is a thing. Google Podcasts. It popped up and I was like, oh, that's a thing. I was like, I looked at Nicole and I was like, Google has podcasts? And she was like, Google has everything.
Google does have everything. Yes.
We love the Google. We also have a website. You can find us at wildlynativeflowerfarm.com. Thank you, CJ. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, the Tiki Talkie at Wildly Native Flower Farm or the Flower Files. And we will talk to you again next week.
Very soon.
have a fantastic week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, just dropping a line to tell you about Patreon.
So I asked them, meaning Mom and Amber, what is Patreon anyway? Because I honestly had no idea. So we're going to explain it to you from our perspective so that you understand and so that I understand.
Because the first time I saw it, I was like, Patron? We're drinking tequila? Great. So Patreon is for less than a cup of coffee, those fancy coffees that y'all like, a day, you can sign up to become one of our members.
A little family.
Exactly. And what does that get us?
It gets us some freebies, some special episodes that other people do not get access to. You can interact with us on a special platform where we can ask you questions and interact with you. It's tons of fun.
Mm-hmm. And even on those special episodes, we might be less censored than we are already. And we're going to have a couple fun ones that we can just kind of throw in there and talk about and laugh and go on tangents and have fun. So I hope that you all enjoy it because we're going to have fun along the way. We're crazy, crazy, crazy excited.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Back to the episode now. Bye.
Gracias.